So hello everyone, this is me Atharva Khamkar. I'm going to demonstrate my project of automating WordPress website creation on an Apache server. Okay, so this process simplifies the process of setting up multiple WordPress sites, well, where it makes easier for the developer and the hosting provider. Okay, so what we do is this is okay. So I will show. Okay, so basically how we set up. Okay, what is the purpose of the project is we have to set up multiple we have to give one HTML page where we can set where we ask for the domain name for the from the developer or from the cloud or the hoster, where we enter the name here and we just press the deploy WordPress. Then we can access this domain on our browser. Okay, so what is the purpose of this project is to make it simpler and without doing much configurations while going into the terminal and doing all the setups. Okay, so for setting up we have to do multiple we need multiple like services such as Apache server. So Apache -v, so it's still okay. Okay, spelling is wrong. Okay, so here we have the Apache. Okay, also we have WordPress. Okay, I have WordPress installed on it. Okay, no worries with that. I will show you. Also, we have MySQL. Okay, so I think okay, this shows that I have installed the MySQL on my server. Okay, then okay, so this all we required PHP, MyApache, and MySQL and WordPress. Okay, so we need MyApache to serve the website. Okay, it means we have to host the WordPress, so we need a server to host it. So we need Apache. We need MySQL to store the data of the WordPress. Okay, so the user will log in or the entries, login, authentication, and all stuff we can store there. Okay, and the WordPress. PHP is needed to run the WordPress. Okay. Okay. So the WordPress site creation. So next step is the WordPress site creation. So uh, okay. So you can see that here I have the local example.com. Okay. So I will go inside it. Okay. And here is where all the WordPress configuration files are there, and also where we can see like the WordPress file, WordPress setup. Okay. So I will show you. We'll just cancel this. Actually, this is that website. Okay, so when we want to access it, we write local.example.com, and we can see that we can access our WordPress website. Okay, so this is the first step where we manually set up the WordPress on the browser for the first time. Okay, so the first step is setting up the WordPress site locally, manually, without the automation. Okay, By the way, I'm doing this on any desk because I have done my project on my another PC, and I'm not able to access the mic on it. So I'm doing this so I can have the mic access. Please, I'm sorry for the inconvenience. So here we can see that the localexample.com, we can access the WordPress website for the first time without automation. And for the second part, okay, okay, here comes. So this is how WordPress look like, okay, for the first time without automating. Okay, what I have done is to automate this, to automate this, I have wrote a process.php file. We can show you process.php. So here comes that file. Just a second. Yeah. So in this, I will show you one more file. This is the index. This is the index.html, where it is a simple basic form where we take the input from the user here, and we can see the input type is text, name is domain, placeholder, enter this name. Okay. Also, we have this button deploy. Okay. So when we press the deploy button, what will happen is the name we are put the domain. Okay. So I can show you here. I have configured this for this particular IP address in the /etc/host.com in the file. Okay, so here it comes the HTML page. Okay, so what happens when we enter a domain name here and press the deploy button, deploy WordPress. So it takes the name. Okay, it takes the name, enter in the input text. Okay, we have set a path of web root in the var www new sites domain. The domain is exactly what we enter in the text area. Okay, so this automation basically is, first we take the name, then we set the IP address, that is 127.0.0.1 for the same domain name as it is entered in the text box. Okay, so and the next important thing is giving the right permissions and making the right path and making the right directory for accessing that domain. Okay, so here we can see sudo mkdir for the path web root we have given here. Okay, then we perform the ownership command, where the www hyphen data is the user I have created for for the PHP for accessing it, as it cannot be run by the root user. Okay, we change the ownership to this particular user for this root, for this path or for this directory. It means for this particular path or the directory which we are making. Then we give the permission for 755, that is the um, all permissions for the root, and read execute permissions for the group and the others. Okay, the hyphen r represents the recursively doing the same for the every directory inside it. Okay, then here comes the main part, that is WP CLI, where it means we are using WordPress CLI, command line interface of the WordPress, for automating it, where we are typing the command like www, this is the user WordPress core download, which downloads all the essentials and the necessary directory dependencies of the WordPress on that particular path which we have set above. Okay, in the next command we see that we create a database. Okay, as we have seen that we have installed MySQL to store the data which can be entered in the WordPress site. Okay, then the third command is we are installing the core um, dependencies which are required for the accessing PHP. It means like database WordPress admin page. Okay, then here comes the main part. Okay, this is the config file which is same as the enter domain name. Okay, where we set the server name as same as the domain name. We set the document root where as the same as the web root path, or the where we store all the WordPress dependency files. Okay, and here it tells that we allow all override all required all granted, which means we give them all the permissions for accessing or deploying the WordPress on that particular domain name. Okay, and here we set the logs, error logs and the custom logs. It means if there is any error or anything we want to see, then we can see it on these particular locations. Okay, and the next part is and the next part is um, okay, sudo config file. We make a config file for the particular domain where we enter a command such as a2 en site. Okay, this is a particular script. This is a particular script which is used for running the config file. I can show you. We get multiple config files. These are the config files that are required for accessing that particular domain on the browser. Okay, which tells the Apache server to enable this config file for this particular domain name, which will give all the access and all the permissions to run that particular WordPress setup or the admin page for setting up the WordPress installation on that particular domain. Okay, also this this is the command which I was talking about. This is the command which I was talking about. Okay, and after that we reboot this Apache server. As to restart, when we restart it, it gets configured with all the necessary files or the new files which we have added in the previous session. Okay, so I will demonstrate one of the example. So it is like www. I will use this and I will make a test server 3. Okay, and I will press WordPress. Okay, all the magic or all the I will show you the files which are created. Okay, so I will do ls. We can see here it's 03, right? Test server, trial test server 03, trial test server 03, trial test server 03. A config file is made by its own because of that process.php automation. Okay, then here we can see www.trial.testserver03.com, a directory made in it. Okay, also I can show you that cat slash etc hosts, where we can see the particular IP is assigned for that particular domain name which is here. Okay, also I want to show you that if I go inside this www.trialserver03.com, there is a file name wp-config sample.php, where it is not set now, but we see that when the data is entered at this site, I will show you, when we try to access it, www.trialserver03.com, and we can see a WordPress admin page for setting up a WordPress without any configuration in the terminal, without doing any external process. We have to just enter a domain name on this site, on this particular HTML page, and all the automation is done. And we have to just access the domain name on our browser, and we can set up a WordPress manually. After that, it is all about user and the host, what they required, which language, and all. Okay, so the main part is automating this. Okay, so there are three main files I want to show you. So the three main files are cd slash var slash ww. Here we have the here we have the automation in the HTML directory, where we have the index and process.html. Okay, in the process.php, where we have the automation scripts in it. Also cd new sites, where we can see all the new directories, or all the directories which are been made by the automation and can be accessed, um, same as the domain name. Also the hosts, how to configure host in etc hosts. We can see that for every domain name we set a IP address as to 127.0.0.1 for the same domain name, and then cd slash etc slash apache apache sites available. Here are that config files which are made, and then we run the command like a2 mv site, and the config file which should be configured for accessing the same domain with the same config file. Okay, so we can see that each and every file has been created. I was getting an error as the database error connection. For that, I have seen the logs, where we can see in uh, less it was where log apache error logs. Okay, so here we can see there are multiple, like the database name is not set and all. It will be said afterwards. Okay, it will be set afterwards. So for this, it was very good project. I loved it a lot. I have learned a lot, and I would like to contribute to the company and learn more with you guys. Thank you.